Yeah, let's go. New year, new me, turn it up a new degree. I'm gon' make it to the top if it's the last thing I see. Work hard every day, work hard, then we play. I'll be doing everything in my own damn way. Ain't nobody tell me shit, I'm on top of it. Writing hits that make other people feel like writing hits. We gon' get every little goal that we wanna get. Never quit, we don't even know what it means to quit. Write it down, what you want, what you need, what you see. Everything that you wanna be. Put it out in the world, that's your destiny. In your mind, what you need is to have believe. I'm gon' make it to the top, cause I never stop. My own switch doesn't have enough. I think it's broken, I think it's lost. I guess that's why I never take a loss.
New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win.
Make a deal with yourself that you'll get after it. Find something that you love, call it passionate. Or find some passion in leaving behind adequate. Your journey starts now, time to make it happen then. You could be great, have it your way. Served up like some room service on a nice plate. The high life is only hours a day away from making a change to the life that you chase. New year, new you, new day. Go prove to yourself you could do anything you wanna do. When you set your mind to something big that you choose, break it down to the root, chip away, gotta move. Push past all your limitations. Right now consider this an invitation. Make your worth go up like inflation, and start chasing your dreams, stop waiting.
New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win. New year, new me, no fear, just be everything you wanna be. Write it down, what you see, don't give up, just believe, and you will succeed. Put the hours in, and you're bound to win.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. What an achievement, man. Got through 2025 and now we're in 2026 and we're not losing a beat. The media continues to do what they do and project what they want to, and we got to absorb what they tell us and we take it with a grain of salt. But it's just going to be crazy. I told you 2026 is going to be crazy. So let's get right to it. Let's go straight to Liberal Hive Mind. We got a whole bunch of videos to watch, and I'm starting off with Liberal Hive Mind. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by FiveMind.com. You know, it's absolutely wild because the left-wing media wants you to be angry at Nick Shirley. They want you to be angry at the evil MAGA Republicans who are supposedly unfairly targeting an entire group of people. But you know what you should actually be angry with? What should piss you off is your generous contributions to programs that are supposed to take care of the vulnerable that Democrats tell you are absolutely necessary, while having the funding for those programs being used to siphon off dollars to fraudsters in foreign countries to the tune of billions of dollars. Yeah, you know, for me, I feel like that's the scandal, right? But if you listen to the mainstream media, yeah, apparently we're the problem. They're not even interested in the widespread fraud, it seems. No, they seem more interested in all these nonsense attempts at debunking, like this clip that played on CBS Minnesota.
Talk to a mother dropping off her kids.
I take my kids here, 2 o'clock to 10. Yeah, there's a lot of kids inside.
Oh, don't believe your lying eyes. Just listen to this random Somali community member who showed up to the daycare post all the exposure that this story is getting. There she is repeating the line, "Oh yes, of course. I drop my children off exactly from 2 to 10 p.m. They're doing the night shift." Yeah, I wonder who coached her to say that, but this is what the mainstream media is focusing on. Meanwhile, the fraud schemes just keep getting worse and worse. And we've got another massive bombshell today. Another fraud scheme getting exposed. This time it's Medicaid getting looted. I mean, what program won't these people touch? Let me show you guys this shocking news segment. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's first start off with this absolute bombshell of a news segment.
They were billing her Medicaid.
Day after day.
Billing a lot.
$188.90.
Week after week.
Same thing.
Month after month.
Until you saw their name on your insurance billing, had you ever heard of this company?
No, this company, Community Care Partners, has never worked with me in any way, shape, or form.
Their website says they provide ARMS. ARMS is the acronym for Adult Rehabilitative Mental Health Services, a Medicaid program overseen by the Minnesota Department of Human Services.
Oh, Lord.
Individual develop and enhance psychiatric stability.
I've never received any type of ARM services.
Online, Community Care Partners solicits referrals with very detailed information.
That's how they steal.
The exact info you need to start billing someone's Medicaid. When you click on Meet Our Team, you get a page with no information. It does say, find us at our working location in St. Anthony. Found a small sign on a door and a mailbox, but no one answered.
It doesn't look like anybody's actually here. It's one so we're in the middle of the day during business hours.
The Secretary of State website listed a manager. When Carol Evan contacted her, she provided evidence that she'd sold the business in December 2023. That sale.
Hey, LB.
Before the ghost
How you doing, bro?
Erna's insurance started, and the timing raises even further questions. State Medicaid data reveals Community Care Partners billed just $20,000 in 2022 and $10,000 in 2023. In 2024, under new ownership, the company's Medicaid
Holy
billing
shit.
didn't just grow, it exploded by
Oh my God.
7,000% to more than $700,000. And at least in Erna's case, the money was paid when no services were provided. Eventually,
What?
Carol Levin received an email from one of the current owners, Mohammed, who refused to participate in an interview, but acknowledged fraudulent billing.
Absolutely shocking. But you know what the least shocking part about that news segment was? The fact that the company that was using her name to defraud taxpayer dollars was owned by an individual by the name of Mohammed. I mean, you literally cannot script this. Again, you see how there's no hiding. There's no sophistication to these scams.
They're stealing right in front of our faces.
That I just can't wrap my head around.
You gotta get them out of the country, man.
To just do it.
That's the only way to solve this problem.
Names as fake
Get them all out.
to charge for endless sums of money. And really, I think the brazen nature of it all, that's really what tells the story. It shows that these people are not even worried about this stuff. They feel like they could get away with it, and probably because they have for a very long time. You know, it's exposing how weak and captured the system is. You know, you have to ask yourself, again, how does it even happen? How does a company bill for fake services on a real person's account repeatedly without any alarms going off? Well, again, it ties to what we're seeing in Minnesota. The oversight is just not there. And even when there are red flags that are popping up, local Democrat officials have no actual political interest of looking into it because, well, likely they know what's going on in these immigrant communities and they don't want to deal with the political backlash of it all. And so instead, they crack down on the whistleblowers. I mean, that's what we saw in the Tim Walz situation. The latest reporting is telling us that apparently the whistleblowers were silenced and threatened by Tim Walz with accusations of racism and Islamophobia if they were to expose the Somali fraud going on in the state.
We have dozens of credible whistleblower reports saying that exact same thing, that people were told not to say anything because they'd be called racist or Islamophobic, or it would hurt the state. And so people tried to come forward, but were shut down. And that protection of a particular community is what really allowed this fraud to flourish in Minnesota for years. But we have said very publicly that, yes, the bulk of the fraud we've discovered so far is in the Somali community, but some of our best whistleblowers are also in the Somali community. And it's really important that we get to the truth of this issue. And so by failing to call it out, we allowed it to continue. And that has hurt Minnesotans tremendously, taxpayers and our vulnerable citizens.
And so they shoved it under the rug as if it was
time to
never
smoke.
happening. But it is happening.
Got the medicine
It's
ready.
been happening, and that's what we're learning time and time again here is that these cases, they're not just the spawn of
smells so good.
era spending. No, it's been going on for a long time, especially in Minnesota. And you know, the fraud here is devastating. It's not just about the money. No, actually, it turns into something darker because when these care systems are getting corrupted, it's not just about the stolen money. No, there's shockwave effects. And that's exactly why I think these next clips are going to hit so hard because actually we've now connected 2 deaths to these Somali fraudsters. That'll make sense in 2 seconds.
39-year-old Rick Clemmer died of what the medical examiner ruled natural causes, an enlarged heart. But what Kara Levin's investigation uncovered through Medicaid billing records and police body cameras makes Rick's mom now suspect what played an enlarged role is neglect and fraud. In the summer of 2024, he moved out of a group home and into his own apartment, supported by a Medicaid-funded program called Integrated Community Supports, or ICS. ICS is designed to help adults with disabilities live more independently in their own apartment with one-to-one daily assistance for things like health, safety, wellness, and household management. Records show his ICS provider, a private company called Ultimate Home Health Services, LLC, billed $461 every single day, claiming they provided Rick, on average, almost 12 hours of ICS service.
Oh my God.
Nikki says she visited her son every week, often spending an entire day at his apartment and never saw an ICS worker. This ICS worker with Ultimate Home Health Services told the investigating officer they briefly check on Rick just
Bro,
once
bullshit.
a day.
He is one of the most independent, residents here. So what am I gotta do that much checking on him?
That's very different than the 12 hours of one-to-one service Ultimate Home was billing taxpayers.
Wow.
Ask the ICS company about their bill.
Every day, $400 something dollars.
You think their office is inside the back of an old strip mall, but no one was there during
The
business
hell?
hours. Their webpage is a skeleton. The generic placeholder address listed as Main Street, Anytown, Minnesota. According to Secretary of
Anytown.
State records, Ultimate Home Health Services manager is Othman Mohammed. Othman did not respond to any
Of course.
to contact him.
A man who is receiving integrated community
Too much
support
fraud
from
here in the
Medicaid
United States,
service
man.
died after his provider had their payments frozen.
Way
by the
too much
Minnesota
fraud.
Department of Human Services for suspected fraud. 60-year-old Ronnie Williams was found in his apartment Monday where he'd been dead for days, and that he
Wow.
did receive services from Relief Health Services LLC. Our data shows Relief Health Services
He
saw
re-
explosive growth over the last
I bet
2
he
years,
he
going
received
from
services when he
$11,000
was
in
dead.
Medicaid reimbursements to
I bet they
$2.5
charged it.
million last year, but they have not been charged with fraud.
Again, the same thing. They were billing services every single
No
day.
accountability.
They were looting the dollars. And the people who were supposed to be receiving that care, they were left to die. Oh, and I'm sure you guys noticed, again, in that case, the owner of the care provider was a man by the name of Othman Mohammed. You know, again, the left says we're racists, and we're just targeting these poor communities. But no, we're simply following the evidence where it leads us. We're following the breadcrumb trail, and it's Mohammed every damn time. It's either Mohammed or some Somali business or care provider. And I mean, the stories are endless. I got another one here, another Somali organization that created a client profile for an American who actually wasn't even living in America anymore. He had moved to Kenya, and for years they were consistently billing under his name.
So this is
Wow.
a company that billed under my insurance named Action Therapy LLC. They're based in Minnesota. They're billing. Never been there before. Never even heard of
Wow.
it until recently.
Muhammad Ali said he'd never heard of Action Therapy until he requested his insurance billing records.
Oh.
His Medicaid coverage is through taxpayer-funded Hennepin Health. When he got his records, he discovered in just 9 months, between August of 24 and May 2025, Action Therapy billed
Oh my God.
$211,000. It was not all approved, but the records show they were paying
All Muhammad.
$85,000 for doing nothing. Muhammad currently lives in Kenya, but still questioned the charges in his name. Abbas Farah with Action
Wow.
Therapy emailed him, blaming the billing on a clerical mix-up and
Mhm,
promised
of course.
full internal review.
Oh,
This
full
was
internal
the
review,
website.
but
It
what they're
claimed
doing with the money?
psychotherapists. Right away, we found red flags. Action Therapy's website listed their non-working phone number as 012-345-6788. Their website went dark. In July,
Oh,
a new company
no.
website launched. This time,
They
it claims
steal the money from
provide
the
adult
people.
rehabilitative mental health services.
Bullshit,
By the
man.
acronym ARMS. ARMS is a Medicaid program overseen by the Minnesota Department of Human Services.
How can you defend
Minnesota
this?
is still
And how can you
corrupted, man.
remove the Somali component from this conversation? You literally cannot. They are looting taxpayer dollars. And again, this is what the left
Fucking
is
crazy,
attempting to
man.
defend. This is what the Democrat Party
And the
is
people who
fighting to
really need
protect.
these
They put
services
down the
are not
government
getting,
to
and they're
stop
getting
this
denied
stuff.
for these
They burn down
services.
Tesla dealerships to stop this stuff. They
This is
tell you,
crazy.
don't look into SNAP. Don't look into Medicaid. Don't even ask questions about Obamacare. No, just continue subsidizing it. The Democrats want you to continue subsidizing this mass fraud. Well, I think the dynamic is now totally shifted. I think people's eyes are finally being woken up to this stuff. You know, actually, to put that into perspective, you know, that Nick Shirley expose where he uncovered potentially over $110 million in fraud in a single day. You know, I'm not going to take that number at face value because I'm sure not every single daycare that he visited on that day was fully fraudulent, but something tells me, you know, probably a good chunk of them were. But anyways, that video has over 130 million impressions on X alone, probably in the hundreds of millions and counting clips probably in the billions across the internet and social media platforms. You know, if you're the Democrat Party, kind of hard to now shove that under the rug. I'll tell you that much. No, this whole ordeal is totally exploded. There's no more putting this genie back in the bottle. You can't shove this under the rug. You cannot hide it. You can't shove it all in the closet as we walk in the room and pretend as if your bedroom is clean. No, we've seen the damn dirt, and now's the time for the Trump administration to act. Shut it all down and send these fraudsters back home. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Wow, that is incredible. That's crazy. Let's keep it moving. We got some more on this fraud.
Somali community leaders are now pleading with the health department to undo its plans to cut off child care funding. Garrett Tenney has the latest live from Chicago. Garrett?
Yeah, Mike, and police in Minneapolis are also investigating a break-in at a daycare center. Now, this particular daycare center was not featured in Nick Shirley's viral video, but it is one of the dozens flagged to state investigators earlier this year for receiving more than $1 million in federal funding, despite having multiple and repeated violations on record. The owners of Nokomis Daycare say surveillance cameras captured 2 men breaking into their business, claiming they cut through an outside cinder block wall, crawled through an interior wall, and busted their way in before getting into an office and stealing business records, including personal information of who attends the daycare. Here's the center's manager.
One video made by a specific individual made this all happen. Yesterday was our daycare. Tomorrow might be someone else's. We don't know. So this has to stop.
While the Minneapolis police are investigating this reported break-in, some are suggesting it could be a cover-up of wrongdoing, including the HHS official who paused federal funding to Minnesota daycare this week. Alex Adams posted, "Crazy coincidence that attendance records are missing one day after the HHS secretary requested them from the state of Minnesota." Minnesota Democrats, meanwhile, are continuing to defend their handling of the alleged fraud in the state and attacking the Trump administration for freezing more than $190 million in federal funding as it investigates what prosecutors say could be more than $9 billion of fraud in the state.
We're taking fraud seriously. We're working every day to improve our systems, hold those criminals accountable, and move our state forward. That's why it's incredibly frustrating to me that Donald Trump and Republicans want to use this as a political vehicle to cut funding entirely to our state.
She's a fucking idiot.
Republicans argue Minnesota Democrats are
always
now
go
trying
against the
to
grain, man.
whitewash their mishandling of the growing scandal.
Yo, they commit fraud and they like, no, it's okay. It's not. It's Trump's fault.
But yet, President Trump came into office and fixed it almost right away. It almost feels like that again. You have Governor Walz saying, "Well, I'm doing everything I can do at the moment." And yet President Trump and his team are flooding the zone with resources and probably are going to get to the bottom of it before the governor and the AG there in Minnesota do.
Yeah, Congress
They
is now
could be
hoping to have
put
a
in
chance
jail.
to question both.
There's a
Minnesota
lot of
Attorney General Keith
AGs and a
Ellison
lot of
and Governor
governors
Tim
that need
Walz
to be
at a
put in
hearing
jail,
on Capitol Hill next month.
but they won't be held
We'll follow
accountable.
this story. Garrett Tenney, thanks
Because
very much.
all their leaders are
All
some
right, let's bring in
bullshit.
Florida Congressman Mike Herodopoulos. He sits on the House Financial Services Committee. And sir, welcome. Thank you so much for being here on this new year, 2026. We greatly appreciate it. Garrett
Thank
Tenney
you. Happy
just
New Year.
covered, Happy New Year to you. Garrett Tenney just covered an incredible amount of ground in that report. There was a break-in at one of the daycares where records have been requested by the federal government, federal investigators. The feds are moving in on this community, trying to get to the bottom of the fraud investigation that's underway. And local officials are blaming the Trump administration for something that really they've been working on for many, many years now as Governor Walz is running for a third term. I just want to get your thoughts on how things stand right now and what you have to say about it.
Well, as a son of an FBI agent, this is nothing short of organized crime. This is what the mafia does. They steal, they lie, they cheat. And what's happened here is nothing short of that. And the federal government has to use the full powers that we used to destroy the mafia back in the 1960s. Nothing short of it. This undercuts the fabric of America. People work hard to pay their taxes, and they see the dollars thrown away in an organized crime method. And the way you get these people is with the same vengeance that the Biden administration took on with the January 6th incident at the Capitol. That's how you take them on. You start with the lowest level investigators and you say, you knew what was going on. Who told you to turn a blind eye? Nothing short of that will be acceptable to me or members of Congress, because we know when Walz comes to testify, he's going to lie to our face, just like he did on the Sanctuary City issue.
Yeah, and you're raising a very important point that the House Oversight Committee is announcing 2 hearings. They've invited Governor Walz to come and testify in Washington. We'll see if that actually comes to pass. That particular day is slated for early February. And James Comer, who heads the Oversight Committee, had this to say about the effort that's underway. Congress has a duty to conduct rigorous oversight of this heist and enact stronger safeguards to prevent fraud in taxpayer-funded programs, as well as strong sanctions to hold offenders accountable. I think you said something a moment ago that probably touched on a lot of the concern among Americans, is that Americans all across the country are struggling to pay for pre-K, for daycare. I mean, that's generally a very high cost, and you don't want to see, our money thrown away when it could be going to those very programs that people need. Your thoughts?
Well, it's infuriating. There's nothing short of it. I mean, again, we work so hard for our money, and to see these people on an organized crime spree to take the money and then send it out of the country on top of that. I mean, this is what's going on in Minnesota, and the governor doesn't care. And his excuse, it's Trump's fault. Get real. Take your job seriously and get to the bottom of this, because we are. And I'm just tired of this. This is why a lot of us left the private sector to get back into politics, because there's a bunch of fraudsters and crooks, and clearly they've been exposed. And sadly, it wasn't the mainstream media that exposed this. It was a person who took it upon themselves, to their credit, and exposed this fraud so the rest of us see it firsthand. And now we know why that Waltz hated things like the Doge, because we're exposing fraud just like they did with USAID.
Yeah, I want to shift to healthcare quickly because it's going to be a major topic, particularly in the initial months of 2026 as we are there. The Democrats created the Affordable Care Act, created the subsidies, created the expiration date for the subsidies. Now they have expired. But I suppose the question, though, is what can Republicans do now in these coming months?
Well, first, let's be clear. A couple weeks ago, we passed a bill in the House of Representatives that would have brought down Obamacare costs by 11%. And that's about my numbers. That's the CBO, the group the Republicans candidly don't like, called the Congressional Budget Office. Yet the Democrats back in July actually used the Byrd rule in the Senate to kill that 11% savings. And then more recently, we're hoping that they'll do it this time. Now that we have a new bill in the Senate, they need to pass our bill so we not only reduce costs by 11%, but we also have major fraud provisions, because recently even the Washington Post, again, a liberal group, said there's rampant fraud in Obamacare. That's why we just can't rubber stamp a broken system that has failed the American people since 2010. And the truth is, they lied to us there too. They said they would reduce costs. They said they would reduce the power of insurance companies. The exact opposite happened. We have a better plan. We're hoping the Senate will take up our bill that we passed a couple weeks ago in Washington, D.C.
Congressman Mike Herodopoulos, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate your insights. Wishing you a wonderful new year. Thanks for being with us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
He got that like too much makeup. You can tell they put a lot of makeup on his face, and that hair. That hair. Oh goodness gracious. Her too. She has nice little locks here. I like the curls here. It's very pretty. Not too heavy on the makeup, which is neutral, pretty okay. I mean, very okay. This guy over here, I feel like he's in Florida. The palm trees in the background give it away. Living his best life, and that's great. All right, guys. Let's bring it back to me, and let's shuffle a little bit of these stories. Let me just go through this real quick. All right, here we go. Let's go to Fox News. Let's watch this.
But it is a new
Fox
year.
and Friends.
And
New
on the
laws.
first day of the new year, new laws across the country take effect, and we're highlighting some of them this morning. Let's go to Virginia, where a new law will have children under 16 limited to 1 hour a day on social media. In my home state of Tennessee, social media platforms will be required to obtain parental consent before allowing children under 18 to create an account. Joey, in Georgia, where you hail from, limited or prohibited usage of cell phones for students, even out west.
I presume that means in the classroom. I haven't read that law.
Yeah, I think so. That's what it appeared to be geared toward. Out in California, they passed a law that I'm not sure is going to be popular. Plastic bags banned from grocery stores.
Just like New Jersey.
They also have another law where face coverings banned for law enforcement officers on duty. I can tell you, I'm going to guess here. I doubt ICE will play by that rule. That's what that's used to get new IDs with a red stripe and the words "no alcohol sale."
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a big one.
And a finally one there. If you lump in Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Utah, and West Virginia, they're prohibiting purchase of soda, candy, and other junk food to be paid for.
Good.
Oh, that's part of the Make America Healthy Again agenda. Why are taxpayers
That's a good thing.
junk food and creating that cycle of unhealthiness, and then we have to pay for the health care, and then the unhealthy food, and then the health care again. They're trying to stop that cycle.
A lot of new laws. We'll continue to talk about that.
Yeah, new laws. I don't know how I feel about all of them. I don't like new laws in general. I'd rather be ungoverned in a lot of ways. But some of these are really geared towards making up the gap where we as parents just are failing. I mean, you talk about So, children being on social media or even in SNAP. And it's not to pick on people that are low income, but if you don't have enough money to buy all the food you need to prioritize the food that you need. And I think that's what that's about.
It's also about educating, because sometimes you have to know that these unhealthy foods, they falsely advertise that they're
It's not
healthy.
pointing a finger. It's just making sure that the kids involved in that program are being nourished, not just sustained. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I love that a lot of these laws are geared towards social media because, 10 years ago, parents didn't really have the data we have now about how detrimental these social media platforms are to our children. Hopefully, these will take a hold.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Okay, so one of the most common New Year's resolutions is personal finance. And in 2026, President Trump is helping Americans achieve this goal, promising larger tax refunds. Here to explain the boom your bank account could feel is certified public accountant and market analyst Dan Geltrude. Dan, thanks for getting up with us to talk about this. First and foremost, I want to talk about how we can see our refunds go up. And are we talking about hundreds of dollars? Are we talking about thousands? And how do we file our taxes to get that money?
Sure. So what this relates to is the
Bill
big
Terry.
bill which President Trump
Terry
signed
made it.
on July 4th of 25.
How you doing, bud?
And what that did was it made the standard deduction larger. It lowered tax brackets. And how about this one? It raised the SALT deduction, which we were talking about just before, where
Terry's
people
not a
are
rat.
moving out of New Jersey,
That's right.
New York, California. Those states will benefit most from this. The cap was 10,000. It's been raised now to 40,000. Of course, that's subject to income limitations. So people are going to be seeing, according to Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, 1,000 to 2,000 of an additional refund, which is going to cost the federal government about $100 billion. But let's not forget, that's our money and we want it back.
Yeah. That's a very, very good point. That is our money. we paid into that. I want to talk about the child tax credit. Is there anything that's going to change with that? Because I know, before I had a baby, I had heard about it, obviously, but I didn't know too much into it. So is there anything that a new parent needs to know, or perhaps a pregnant woman who's about to embark on that journey?
So this goes back to when and how you file. So yes, the child tax credit is something that's extremely important. And you asked the question before related to what do we do about getting this tax refund, and what do we do about taking care of the taking advantage of the child tax credit? Well, the answer is to file as quickly as possible. Once you have all your tax information, you don't have to wait until April 15th.
That's what the Democrats are known for,
as quickly
Terry.
as possible. And again, get your
That's why we
money
push
back.
back against those
That's
Democrats.
all I think about is like, I just want my money back.
You moved from Florida
let's
to
dig a little
Connecticut.
deeper into
You
this
moved from a red
personal
state
finance
to a
New
blue
Year's
state.
resolution. I love that people are getting more involved in this. This is actually something that I have actively been working on, and I'm hoping to improve on in 2026. So if somebody were saying, hey, I want to save more money, I want to get the most out of my money, where would you tell them to start?
Well, here's the thing. For
Pokemon.
2026, what you want to do is look at your withholdings, because
I'm gonna be
why
getting
would you
me
let
some
the
more
government
Pokemon.
hold your money all
Can't
year?
wait till
So
they
you
have
want
the
to adjust those
card show up
withholdings
here.
to maximize what you're going to get
I know
in
they
your
come into
net
Hartford.
paycheck. Now, what I tell
Actually, they're
people
going to
is
Mohegan
the
Sun,
first thing that you want to look at is look at
I believe,
personal
or
debt,
Foxwoods.
like credit cards. That generally has the
I gotta
highest
look
interest
into it.
rates. So what you want to do is chip
I'm gonna
away
go
at that
shopping for
and get
cards.
that number down. Now, I know a lot of people may be thinking, well, it's extra money. Let me go out and spend. And you can certainly do some of that if you want. But the smart financial move is to take down your personal debt.
They took
Credit card
over
debt is at
Connecticut.
all-time highs.
And
So
there are a lot of
that
people from New York
president is
that moved
giving
here
back
to
more
Connecticut.
money.
That's why it
Let's
turned
get
it blue.
financially healthier in 2026.
They ran the
Yeah, I mean, every
Republicans out of
time I use a
Connecticut.
credit card, I think this is borrowed money, and you have to. It's not just money that's sitting in your account. Okay, Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for all of your tips this morning. We appreciate it, and Happy New Year.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley
All
Earhart.
right.
And click here to subscribe to the Fox.
We shut y'all up and let's keep it moving because they got more.
IRS is handing workers a bigger tax break for business expenses in 2026. We love that. People who use their cars for work will be able to deduct more money per mile on their taxes. And that's just one of the notable changes coming down the line. We're going to bring in the expert, Taylor Riggs, co-host of the Big Money Show on Fox Business.
That's a big one because a lot of people travel from
mini
Connecticut to
education
New York
here
City.
as we were getting ready for this. And we've got a couple things to point out. Obviously, we talked about the mileage rate going up. That's kind of more of a thing that happens anyway. But when we look at Big Beautiful Bill, we look at the tax reform that happened under there. One of the big ones is this standard deduction.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to break that down for us.
So I love this. So back in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the standard deduction was doubled from $12,000 to $24,000.
Yeah.
The good news is, since the Big Beautiful Bill law has now sort of extended that, went from 70% of Americans to now 90% of Americans that use this standard deduction, which is good that now all of this is going back up. Married, filing jointly, now up to $32,000. So there are good incentives to just standardize your deduction. They eliminated a lot of the individual deductions to make it easier for Americans and easier for the IRS. So it's good that this is going up. Now, part of you would say, okay, but inflation's also gone up.
Exactly.
Wages have gone up. So yes, part of this is the IRS just keeping up with wages. But again, really good. I think take advantage of every deduction that you can. We all pay too much in taxes as it is. Keep what you can in your pocket.
Yeah, those standard deductions work really good for people like myself that get a little bit too disorganized to itemize.
Yeah.
Those were marginal increments, but they did go up. Is that a year over year? Will we see them go up next year and the next year the same way?
We hope. Again, because you track inflation
I was
and every year
born
the IRS can look
when,
at what's changed. But I
Reagan
like that they're
took
going up because,
over
again,
office.
you think about, I mean, we were just talking about the Minnesota
I was
fraud
born in the
thing.
Reagan years.
How much of our taxpayer money is not being wasted? Every American right now is trying to
Actually, in
hold
the
on to as
beginning of
much
the
money
Reagan
as they
years.
can. So all of these business deductions, you mentioned the car deduction, for example, the gas mileage deduction, all of that, I encourage you to talk to your tax professional or go on the easy website where you can do it to make sure that you're keeping as much of your own money as you can and it's not going to fraud, waste, and abuse.
So it's not just federal taxes. States have done some things to help folks out as well.
Okay, so I have some good news for you, including your Georgia.
There we go.
8 or 9 states, I believe, starting today are actually starting to cut your income taxes.
There we go.
I'm calling this the race to zero, right? I don't think I have much luck in that in New York City, but in your state of Georgia, right, you're going tax rates in some cases low as 0, maybe 4.25% to 4%, all the way down to 3%. So these are individual states recognizing, if I lower income taxes, will you come to my state and work here and build a business here?
Yeah, the proof's in the pudding. Look at Texas, Tennessee, Florida, places that don't have income tax are doing so well right now. You know, we have the Big Beautiful Bill. It's all going into effect. President Trump says the economy's in a good place. The biggest thing is maybe jobs aren't there. What is your thought on the 2026 economy?
I think that I'm very actually hopeful, and I agree with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that first quarter, second quarter of this year are set up for a boom. We just came off of a really good 4.2% GDP in the previous quarter. How much of that will continue? And there's a lot of things in the Big Beautiful Bill that is now law that increases and encourages businesses to come invest, build, hire. And so I'm actually very hopeful. The key here is making sure real wages, your wage after inflation, stays positive so we can try to dig ourselves out of the hole that we got in the previous administration when inflation was much outpacing our wages. That number has turned positive. We want to keep it there.
Real quick, it's a real quick question. Which comes first, lower interest rates or a new Jerome Powell?
Lower interest rates. Maybe this month.
Oh yeah, I know about 84 in the elections.
We'll see who the
It
replacement
was
is.
wild.
All right, I like it.
It
I
was
like
one of the
giving us something to
greatest
think about. All right,
days for
listen.
Republican
Always watch the
history.
Big Money Show weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern on Fox Business. Taylor, thank you so much for
My
coming in
pleasure.
this morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Happy
Hey,
New
click
Year.
here to subscribe.
Happy New Year. Let's keep it moving.
In the midst of these allegations and investigations, a Somali-run daycare in Minneapolis says they were broken into early Monday.
They claim vandals stole information of children in their care. WCCO's Frankie McLister spoke with
What?
employees about what happened and
Oh,
who they say may be to blame.
this is bullshit.
Just after 3 a.m. on
Look at this.
Tuesday,
As you can see, they use some kind of force.
How?
Nokomis Daycare Center says security footage shows someone breaking in.
Who wouldn't be worried? So we are getting to the bottom of it.
So this is the space that the daycare center says
How
vandals were able to
convenient
get into
that
their
someone
building.
broke in.
Through this hole right here, that's a cinder block wall.
How the hell did they break through a cinder
breached.
block?
Behind us, there's a door that has saw markings, but it seems like vandals were unsuccessful in getting in that way.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also
How would they want to go
employee
straight for the
documentation that was
enrollment of the
done.
children?
On Tuesday, the federal government
That's
announced it's
stupid.
halting all childcare
Come
payments to
on.
the state of Minnesota.
Are you
while they
kidding me?
investigate fraud claims at nearly a
First
dozen
of all, why
Minnesota
would you
daycare
have that
centers
paper?
featured in a now
Didn't you have
viral
the
video
digital?
by YouTuber
Wouldn't you
Nick
have that
Shirley.
safe digitally?
bad actors accountable.
Nokomis,
Why-
who was broken into, wasn't
And why
featured
would
in
they
the
just
viral
go
video.
straight for the
According to the Minnesota
paper?
Department of Human Services, Nokomis
stupid.
Daycare Center remains in good
That makes
standing
zero
and only
sense.
has few minor violations since it opened in 2016.
0
Now
cents.
they're worried they'll be punished.
This will impact thousands of people. People will lose their jobs and hold their homes.
For the crimes of others.
Those who are committing fraud need to be held accountable.
This is bullshit.
We can do that
And look at them holding
without
the
terrorizing
signs.
a whole community.
Look.
Frankie McLister, WCCO News.
This is bullshit.
Minneapolis police are still investigating the break-in and burglary. If you have any information,
Oh,
give them a call.
this is
The center
such
says it believes
garbage.
heated rhetoric motivated the
Yo,
vandals.
these people
Now,
need to be
President
sent
Trump
back
is
to their
commenting on social
country.
media. He wrote,
End of
quote,
story.
a total fraud on Truth Social, while also sharing a story by the New York Post.
Yeah, total fraud, Trump said. It is a total fraud. It's just fucking nonsense. Let's bring it back to me for a little bit. It's nonsense that you have supposedly daycare, right? But then they only open from 2 to 10 p.m. But on their website it says 6 to 10. And then the county officials, the state officials are claiming that that facility is closed down. They're closed. They're no longer in business. But yet, just yesterday, they loaded that whole place with a bunch of kids and say, "No, we are open for business." So help me make it make sense. And then all of a sudden, someone randomly want to come and break through a whole wall just to get a list of your kids? Like, how would they know exactly where those paperwork will be at? Then put yourself in that position. Let's say for instance me. Okay, I'll play the dummy in this case. Okay, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is a daycare. Oh, let me get a sledgehammer and some equipment and go through the wall and break through a door and search exactly where the list of kids is and then leave the facility. I mean, I wasn't born yesterday, but that shit sounds mad fucking crazy and stupid. All they went for was the list of kids. What? Why? It makes 0 sense. It makes 0 sense. Did one of their people break in to get the list so that way the agents won't go after the families of those kids? That was an easy way to get rid of the list, was to have their own go and break in and get the list and get out of there. It makes 0 sense. 0 sense. And then you have the lady, she's like, yeah, they use tools and to break in through here. Look, you see? Are you fucking kidding me? Please sign the insurrectionation. Like, he needs to sign the fucking Insurrection Act. He needs to fucking sign it already, Trump. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, this is the moment. It's like, what are you waiting for? What the fuck are you waiting for? I feel like Scary Movie. You remember it's like, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And he's like, Yeah, it was kind of a nasty scene, but it's just I feel like I live in the upside down, and everything is just fucking crazy. The Somalis are ripping off people in America. They didn't even have to do it from their homeland. They did it in America, ripping off our government and stealing billions of dollars. And they're like over like 300, probably more thousand of these motherfuckers here in the United States that really need to go back to their country. They're not really needed here. Like, no, it's like y'all came here and y'all abused the system, y'all stealing from the system, and then y'all like you want to play the victim now and continue to play the victim. So the pity and all the Democrats come with their signs and they hold their signs. Like, you already know when they come out and holding signs, you know it's bullshit. Come on, man. It just pisses me off. That's all. All right, let's continue on with some more news. See what this is about here.
A new housing and urban development report finding that under the Biden administration, billions of dollars in federal rental assistance went to ineligible recipients, including dead people. Fox Business correspondent Max Gordon has the story. Hi, Max.
Hey there, Taylor. Well, HUD Secretary Scott Turner claims that around $5.8 billion in federal rental assistance was potentially sent out in error in 2024 under the Biden administration. This included about $77 million in payments to around 30,000 dead tenants. About $150 million was paid out to people with non-existent social security numbers, and around $288 million was paid to support excessively high rent. But according to HUD, the vast majority of these incorrect payments, $5.2 billion of them, were made to people with inactive SAM.gov accounts, the government website where people can register for assistance. The payments being scrutinized fall under two programs: tenant-based rental assistance and project-based rental assistance. Project-based rental assistance subsidizes housing units so low-income individuals can afford them, with the government paying the property owner. Then tenant-based rental assistance goes directly to the person in need. In total, HUD sent out about $50.4 billion in rental assistance payments in 2024 to more than 204,000 individuals. The potential error flagged by HUD would make up for around 11.5% of these payments. Secretary Turner said in a statement, HUD will continue investigating the shocking results and will take appropriate action to hold bad actors accountable. We reached out to former HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge and her former Deputy Secretary Adrian Todman for reaction to the report, but have not heard back. Meanwhile, the U.S. continues to struggle with a shortage of affordable housing. According to the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, no state has an adequate supply of affordable rental housing for the lowest income renters. And nationwide, there's a shortage of 7.1 million rental homes available to renters with extremely low incomes that are at or below the federal poverty line. In its 2026 priorities, HUD outlined that it wants to meet these affordable housing needs in part by cutting down on fraud, waste, and abuse. Taylor, back to you.
Max, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are we more angry that this is just big government in the housing? Are we angry that most of this fraud is going to New York, California, Washington, D.C.? Are we more upset that it's going to dead people? Where do I begin?
I'm really upset it's going to dead people and all this fraud even happens because here's why. It's so easily avoided. In this digital age, we should have digital checks and balances. A check's going to go out, Social Security check, a HUD assistance check. Is that person dead? There should be a death certificate in the system that matches up with the Social Security number. It's very straightforward. If we can figure out blockchain and cancer immunotherapies, we should be able to figure out an accounting system for where government.
Should the check go out? I mean, $50 billion for rental assistance? I mean, I know it makes me sound like a bit of a Scrooge here, but government is not a charity. Government is a gun. And its role is not to provide you food, healthcare, education, medicine, everything. It's cradle to grave, once again, entitlement state. So I'm, for one, no more subsidies. And I think what you would find once government stops subsidizing things like rental, those prices will come down. They won't go up, they'll go down, making them more affordable for everyone at every economic
It'll come down if you get rid of the illegals. That's what will come down.
You
You can punish the Americans
this
need there
funding
too
program.
by
go.
taking
It
away the
should not
subsidies because
exist.
there's a lot of people that
But
need
I heard
it.
Alex Berenson, the journalist on Kudlow
So I kind of
yesterday,
disagree on his
and
point.
within Medicaid, for example,
If you
that
get
they
rid of the
tried
illegals
to
that are in the
expand
system,
the
then
definition
yes,
of like
like it would
mental health
prices will
care
come
to
down.
include housing services. And one, I mentioned Medicaid as being, I would say, the most dangerous federal program. It's state and federal, but I think if you look at California, about more than 60% of the funding comes from the federal government. I just wanted to note that California 2 years ago, for Medicaid for elderly people, for long-term care, so elderly people who want to go into nursing homes, California got rid of the asset test. Medicaid's supposed to be for low income, disabled. So they made it easy for wealthy people to get their money. So federal taxpayers were bearing most of the burden to finance rich people going into homes. It blew out the number of people on the program. And so now they've had to reverse it, and they just starting tomorrow. There's an asset test back in place in California. I think it lasted 2 years. That's what a disaster it was.
It's fucked up because it's the truth.
The reason that the Medicaid is such a disaster is because the states implement these rules, but the federal taxpayers are on the hook. And I'm not even getting into the Medicaid expansion for under Obamacare, but this is an abomination what California did. Ask anybody about it. They aren't even aware that you could just be a rich person with a $50 million house. Didn't matter. You could get on being a nursing home on the taxpayer dime.
Quick thoughts, Jeff?
This is a big country with a lot of complexity.
Yeah.
And we try to fix things, and
it never gets
they
fixed.
never totally get fixed. But
no, they don't.
You know, I'm not justifying.
It's kind of like Ring Around the Rosie. It's the same shit. All like you keep doing the same thing over and over and over.
What we face is probably inevitable.
But this is the biggest fraud scandal in my lifetime. What's going on in Minnesota?
Maybe AI will help us get all, like, I think at the blockchain, I think.
To Lou's point, you know, the digital world, maybe it gets better rather than having paper stuff flying
I'm
around.
hopeful.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, we just living in unique times, you know, just there's a lot of fraudulent, a lot of theft going on behind the scenes. Like it's just when is it going to stop, right? Like when are we going to put our foot down and say enough is enough and that's it? We had enough. We're moving forward. We're not going backwards, and we're not funding these bogus businesses that are, you could tell, are very fraudulent, but yet there's no accountability. There's no like, where are the agents that should be following up on these businesses and making sure that they legit? Because you can see as far as day one when they apply for these businesses license, you could tell if it's going to be a bullshit business or not, you know? And they're like, oh yeah, but that discrimination, really? We're going to play that? So is it discrimination if I want all of them to go back to their country? Or are you going to call that racism? Fucking shit. Every single time, it's always some bullshit that they have a shield. They're protected. It's like, let's use the racism. All right, racism activated. You're all racist. Leave us alone. We have done nothing wrong to you. They play the victim card. Victim card, release. oh my God, we got broken into. Look, they use sophisticated weapons and tools to get in. And they went straight into the office and they stole all the children's records. Now, does that fucking make sense? Who would know where all those kid records are located if no white people are allowed in their facility? Little Jimmy, or whatever he called, uh, well, I'll call him Little Jimmy. Can't get any information to enroll his kid, and even the guy mentioned and said, I don't, Little Jimmy wouldn't like it, wouldn't like it here. He wouldn't be here. He can't be here. Pretty much, like totally, like not give him any information to rates or nothing, like saying that pretty much your kid's not welcome here. Like, are you serious? And this is a daycare? And there's already discriminating kids, especially white kids. No, this is a problem. Listen, the same way we're getting all these people out, the illegals. Guess what? The Somalians. We have a jet for you too, and it's a military jet. You're gonna get on that motherfucking jet, and you're gonna fly your ass back to your motherfucking country because it's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. Tired paying for their shit already, using our taxpayer money for them to succeed, and then they abuse the system, and then they call us the races and all. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm done with their bullshit a long time ago.
Reporting live from Chicago on this, Garrett.
Hey, Brian, the Trump administration has launched a flood of investigations into the alleged fraud happening in Minnesota, and it's also taking steps to try to cut off the spigot of taxpayer dollars that are allegedly being stolen there. This week, the Department of Health and Human Services froze $185 million for childcare in Minnesota and created new verification requirements for businesses to be able to be reimbursed. Despite the claims of widespread fraud, though, that has allegedly been allowed to go on for years, Minnesota Democrats are criticizing the president for this temporary pause.
We're taking fraud seriously. We're working every day to improve our systems, hold those criminals accountable, and
They're holding their little signs in the back.
that's why it's incredibly frustrating to me that Donald Trump and Republicans want to use this as a political vehicle.
Oh, she had to excel in order to say that.
Multiple Somali-run childcare centers say they have been inundated by hateful and threatening messages ever since a viral video put the Twin Cities in the national spotlight. Several are also claiming there have been attempted break-ins like this one from a couple of nights ago that wasn't successful. However, police are investigating an alleged
that was unsuccessful. All he did was try to open the door.
Where the owner says earlier this week, someone cut through a cinder block wall and crawled through a small opening to get inside in order to break into their office and steal documents with information about the children that they're taking
You see,
care
that
of.
makes zero sense.
We don't know why this is targeting our Somali community.
Look at this guy.
One video made by
Is this Puff
a
Daddy's
specific
son?
individual made this all happen. We are not a part of any.
Is this Puff
part of the
Daddy?
things that are being said. We have no problem with CCAP, and our licensing has been good.
Yeah,
This
while
guy's
this particular daycare wasn't featured in
horrible.
Nick Shirley's viral video, it is one of the dozens flagged to state investigators earlier this year for continually receiving
Like,
more than $1
we're
million
guilty,
in
but
federal
I'm gonna
funding,
claim we're
despite having
innocent.
multiple repeated violations on record. Brian?
To your point, this is a fraud that has been known for years, but now it has the national attention. So we'll see where this story goes next. Garrett.
Yeah, it's been going on forever, and it's time to put a motherfucking stop to it. Like, stop the bleeding. You know, we know where the money is going. We know. Listen, if we don't know, we're fucking doomed, right? Because if they can't track all the activities and the sales and the transfers of money from within the United States to another country like Somalia, like everyday transmissions go through the air and money magically appears in Somalia. I wonder, is the US actually like monitoring that? Or they're like slacking? Like, where's the CIA? What happened to Homeland Security? We're like, how come we always hear about the FBI, but the FBI, you know, they're no good. Like Patel is just he's booby trapped, you know. Like she's an agent, of course we know, but he's a sucker, so he's gonna fall for the tits and ass. So let him be. But we're screwed. We've been screwed for a long time. Trump could do a minimum to help and try to relieve some, but the system is it's already it's like cancer already spread in our country, and the fact that we have over 3 million illegals on top of it, we're fucked. You know, how are we going to take them out? We got to activate the military, and we got to like sweep every state like a full sweep. Like that's going to take a lot of resources. That's going to take a lot of money, and the fact that to round up all these people, and where are you going to put them at? You know, that's the question. Like, where do we put them at? You know, there's so many planes that could fly, you know, out of here, taking a certain amount of people on a daily basis. So it's like it's a fucking mess. All right, it's a big fucking mess, and we're living in it. So let's go ahead and continue on with some more. Oh, this one's a little different. We're gonna go straight to Benny Johnson, and let's watch what's up.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Nick Shirley made famous the Quality Leering Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's now become quite a tourist destination for people that want to take selfies with the misspelled sign and also the misspelled address, but also individuals who want to keep the pressure up on the reputable owners here who now have a now open sign out front and have tried to fix their sign. Nick Sotor is also an independent journalist who is on the ground keeping the pressure on the proprietors of this leering establishment. After 14 hours, a crew of 10 Somali men at the Quality Leering Center gave up trying to figure out how to remove the stickers off a window. So they made an address spelled correction on printed paper. Safe to say they never leered how to do that in school. A reminder that they misspelled not only the address on the building, but also the sign. But this isn't even the funniest thing that happened in Nick Sotor's recent reporting from the Somali front. He went there on New Year's Eve and gave them a wonderful and pleasant New Year's Eve message. He was met exactly how you'd expect, with threats and claims of racism. That doesn't work anymore. But also Nick Sotor has some great one-liners here.
What's up? I'm just here to wish everybody a happy new year from the Quality Leering Center here tonight. You want to say anything to everybody? Trespassing, sir. Huh? You're trespassing in my country. Live.
You're trespassing in my country.
Live. What do you mean live? I'm living well.
Live.
I'm on the sidewalk. What are you talking about?
You're on our parking lot.
Okay. What time do you close? None of my business. Okay. All right. Well, happy New Year anyway. Take care. Enjoy. Probably won't be a great one for you, though. I'll be honest with you.
The cops have been called.
So here's the owner's son.
The owner's son. Are you kidding me? Look at that hair. Oh boy.
It's a rental, bro. But I mean, that's fine. If it makes you feel better.
It's a rental. So dumb.
Calling the cops on Nick Sotor. And they call the cops on Nick Shirley. They attacked Nick Shirley in the street. This is so funny. You're trespassing my country. All right. The content never ends here. We go with the Quality Leering Center. Why are they so quick to call the police? I thought most newcomers are so scared of the cops.
Right.
Be safe. These people are disgusting and disrespectful. This will give them fits. Why aren't they arrested yet? Quality Leering Center toying with the Somalis. You're trespassing in my country. Live, sir, live. Well, the Quality Leering's crew saw my post almost instantly and decided to come out in a show of force. I tried to call them for comment prior to posting, but unfortunately the phone numbers don't work. Here we
Damn.
go. This is Nick showing the printer paper that they used
That's
to
crazy.
fix it. 10 masked Somalis come out of the Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis to attempt to fix their misspelled sign, and they failed. They spotted me and began pacing around my car. As soon as I tried to chat, they ran away. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Nick's further reporting.
See,
on the
this
ground
is
in Minneapolis.
that shouldn't even
About a
be
quarter
happening
past
in
10 out
America.
here outside the Quality Learning
They
Center
need to
on
go
a
back to
Tuesday
their
night.
country.
Got 10 Somalis out here
This is
trying to
bullshit.
fix their misspelled street name. We'll see how much success they have there. You got this guy back here is going to continue pacing around. He's already got several photos of my license plate. I don't know what he's going to do with that.
Later.
They didn't quite finish the job changing out the sign. Guess I interrupted there. Because I'm in a public parking lot here. I'm
Yeah, he's
on
in
their
a public
property.
parking lot. He could zoom in with his camera.
Hey, man, do you want to have a chat? Okay, I was just saying you were taking pictures of me, so I was just
you were taking pictures of me.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I'm glad you're finally changing the sign. You're gonna change it to actually what it's spelled as. You want to say your name? I know. I'm on the sidewalk. You want me to pose for you? I guess you guys can do this just about all night. You don't open until what? 2 o'clock tomorrow? Is that what it is? Is the daycare center 2 o'clock? Huh?
Literally.
What'd you
Hold
say?
on.
Huh? Oh, you don't want to talk now. All right.
Yeah, you see,
I was
this
just curious.
is
How many
shady
people do
shit.
you need to
Look.
change the letter on the sign? You got it's. What time is it now? 10:30? Almost 10:30. Out here on this Tuesday night.
And it's all men. Daycare, right? And there's a lot of men in that daycare. That's very suspicious. And look, they're all with cameras. Look.
Unlike you guys, I'm not wearing a mask. I
Who
don't have to hide my
daycare does
identity.
this?
You got plenty of pictures of my rental car license plate though, so I'm happy for
All right,
you.
let me pause this a little bit here. Let's bring it back to me. Where in America, anywhere in America, at a daycare that is open from 2 to 10 and it's 10:22, right? That he showed the time. And they were there actually before 10:22, because when he showed 10:22, he had filmed way before when. There's nothing but guys. There's nothing but like 10 guys. Where's the females? Where are the teachers? Where are the caretakers? We're like we got questions because you got 10 guys in a daycare that's supposed to be for children. Help me make that make sense. Ain't that very suspicious? And then the next thing you know, they got broken into, and the list of their children that goes to that daycare was magically vanished. Help me make that make sense. What person has gone into that facility and knows exactly where that list is located? Look, I can play detective. You want to play detective, Smallies? Let's do it. Let's have some fun. When you see bullshit, you call it. It's bullshit. That's it. You know? And the way that they're acting, the suspiciousness of them going and getting his tag number and calling his whoever person that's on the phone and relaying his description and the tag number. You don't find that suspicious? Like, Trump, I'm telling you, 2026, sign the Insurrection Act. Sign it. And you get all these motherfuckers out. You get the Leering Center out. All of them are not going to have a great 2026. Send them back to their country. You know, you abuse America? Okay. We don't need you here. Send you back to your country. Do that. The same shit you're doing here, do that over there. See how far that gets you. All right, let's go back to the Laring Center report.
On that one.
Look at all their little cameras. Look.
I was just minding my own business. You guys came up to me. If you want to chat, I'll be over here. I got all night.
12 o'clock midnight.
It's now about midnight outside the Quality Learning Center, and as you can see, unfortunately, no luck getting that sign finished. Maybe tomorrow, but they have cool open flags now. Look at that, now open, because apparently they were closed just last week.
Yeah, I thought they were closed.
Pretty
The city
wild.
said they were closed.
I'm kind of amazed that
The city said that it was shut down business.
You know, if you weren't doing something suspicious, why are there so many crash outs? Why are there so many Somalis freaking out, screaming, yelling, locking their doors, chasing journalists, calling cops, having complete total crash outs? Why is that happening at scale around the country? You know, and really like kind of tells the tale here, doesn't it? Like it's kind of obvious, right? The lady doth protest too much, as Shakespeare would say. It's just proof that they don't want you to find out what's going on. All the more reason that the President Trump and his administration needs to find out what's going on and do it now and show the American public that we are not just going to squander billions of our tax dollars on Somali pirates and Islamic terrorism and so on. Please restore some faith in the system. Thank you, Nick, and the other Nick, for doing such excellent journalism. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Support Nick, Shirley, and Nick Sotor.
And look how they follow him. And he's at the parking lot. That's where he was reporting to whoever was on the phone. Like, let's move back right here. Look at him reporting. Yeah, this is the car, the make, the model, the tag number. And he's like, you fucking idiot, it's a rental. Happy New Year. Oh, I can't. We gotta get them out. I'm sorry. They gotta go. All right, let's keep it moving.
Country as winter settles in, the flu season is also running rampant. The so-called super flu is emerging as the dominant strain in the U.S., and the CDC estimates at least 4.6 million cases so far fueled by this variant. Here with the more Fox News senior medical analyst and author of the book, The Miracles Among Us, Dr. Mark Siegel joins us. Dr. Siegel, good to see you.
Lawrence, great to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So tell us, is this really a super variant? It seems like every year around this time, we get some alerts saying the flu is out of control.
Lawrence, it's not the actual mutations that I'm worried about. This is an influenza A, H3N2. It had a bad flu season in Australia this year, which predicts a bad flu season here, and it affects a lot of young people. What I'm concerned about is that the rate of hospitalizations of those 4.6 million people is about 48,000, which to me is a lot, because we end up every year with about 100 to 200,000 hospitalizations, but kids are being affected more, and the flu shot, which does decrease the risk of that by 30%, is not a great match because of this mutation. So it's a bad flu, and it is the bad time. But look, you're talking about bad weather, cold weather, snowstorms you just showed. People huddle inside. They huddle close together. Maybe they don't wash their hands. They got to realize that flu spreads on surfaces. You got to be on the lookout for the symptoms you're now showing, cough, fever. Suddenly, they used to call it the grip, because suddenly you're walking along. The next thing you know, you're fatigued, you're laid out, you have joint aches, muscle aches, cough, runny nose, headache. That's the flu.
All right, doctor. Another story I want to get you to weigh in on is why taking time to do absolutely nothing this week could be one of the best things for your overall health. This is what this psychologist, the director of the Manhattan Therapy Collective, had to say. So it's important to have off time, not only to prevent burnout, but it also helps us to enrich our lives and sense of identity or worth beyond what we do. Certainly, productivity can be impactful and good, but if it's the only way we know how to feel good about ourselves, it's likely to lead to overworking and exhaustion. I kind of agree with this, Doc. You know, you got to have purpose, but you got to reset sometimes as well so you can live the fight another day, right?
I agree with you and love this sentiment, but I want to point out, I know you well, Lawrence, and you are inspiring me because of the equanimity that you show all the time. You're a guy that doesn't seem to let things get to you. But if that's true, inside, maybe it still does. I got to tell you, for myself, taking a day of rest, not overdoing it, not overindulging, because this time of year with New Year's is a time when holiday heart syndrome, you can infect your heart by drinking too much. You got to watch it with that snow. Don't suddenly go out and start shoveling. But you know what happens when you sleep more? The brain vacuum cleaners out debris. You literally reset. You reset your emotions. Your immune system improves. Your behavior gets better. And maybe you learn a method of behaving that you can take into the new year where you're not as irritable. Again, not Lawrence Jones. Maybe me. Maybe I need to be a little less irritable. Couple of days of rest here.
I tell you, Doc, I can get irritated, especially since I'm only sleeping 4.5 hours a day. But I'm going to work on that in the new year. I promise that to the producers. Doc, thanks so much for coming on. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Lawrence. Thanks for having me.
Right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube.
Let's go back over here. Can't get over that Happy New Year. Happy New Year. The Leering Center. My God, help me. I don't know what timeline I'm living in. I just don't know. I can't get over this. This is just so fucking weird. It's just a weird time we're living in, and it keeps getting any weirder every single time. It's like it doesn't get any, like, it's getting just more and more worse. We're trying to do good, but it's like, oh my God. It's so many, there's just too many people. We need something probably big is going to happen. Because there's just too many people. You know, I think that 2030 thing is very interesting. If you haven't looked it up, you should check it out. You know, they want to really reduce the population. And they want to try to do some instability with all communities and stir up a lot of what's going on now. It's like the beginning process. The Democrats are really behind this 2030 shit, and they want an uprising, and they want chaos, and if the Democrats have it their way, this is going to be one. It's going to be one to remember, but it's going to be horrible for a lot of people, and like I said, I don't know what timeline I'm in right now. I really don't know. After I woke up from my coma, it's just been fucking crazy ever since then. And my mind was just all over the place then how it is now. And it's just having flashback, PTSD. So I have a lot of that. So I smoke a lot of medicine. My PTSD is fucking crazy. But just living in just weird fucking times. Ever since that shit happened to me, everything after that, it's just been like total flip. Like people, everything. It's just been all weird. But let's keep it moving. We got more to watch.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Okay, well, here it is. Here's what's going on. Obviously, we've uncovered the freaking fraud motherlode, and the leftist lamestream media doesn't like that very much. No, they don't like it when their corrupt freaking schemes are getting exposed. And so in comes the counter, the massive gaslighting campaign, the attempt at debunking all of these MAGA influencer claims. That's how they're labeling Nick Shirley now, by the way, who is not a MAGA influencer. He was just a regular YouTuber who was doing on-the-ground reporting on various different issues, trying to be as nonpartisan as possible. But I guess, you know, the line of work kind of maybe drifted him towards our direction a little bit. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm fighting the label. Really no reason to be defensive. Hell yeah, the guy's a MAGA freaking YouTuber. Let's go. But anyways, they're so clearly trying to dismiss his reporting. And so in comes all these lamestream media journalists who seem not curious at all in the potential mass fraud schemes that are going on. No, they're grilling Nick Shirley, and they're asking him all kinds of gotcha questions and focusing on trying to fact check all the claims being made. Of course, in an effort for the audience to then come to the conclusion that actually there's no fraud going on here. No, it's just a right-wing, white supremacist, anti-Somali political campaign. But none of it makes sense, folks. And funnily enough, most of their arguments seem to fall apart the second you watch one video from just a random American citizen who basically puts it all into clear perspective. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. Let's take a look at the mainstream media debunking gotcha questions, and then let's forcefully insert some common freaking sense here, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So I first want to show you guys these clips of CNN talking about Nick Shirley, his reporting, everything that's going on. Just take a look.
This is MAGA YouTuber Nick Shirley back at a daycare admin. So he alleged was a fraudulent facility in a now viral video.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours. The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a daycare.
Yeah, but you can't call
the number. Every daycare is locked.
Their doors are locked.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then, but why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Who is he? Like, who?
Okay, I have to pause it for a second because this is just going to piss me the fuck off. I'm sorry, guys. It's just going to piss me off. It's just going to piss me off. The reporter, CNN, of course, of all motherfucking networks, CNN. Why is she coming down on him and attacking him with all these interrogating questions? How come she's not turning around and interrogating the business itself and asking them, how come your business is not open? How come there's so many people standing around here? Like, are these workers? Are these teachers? Like, what's going on here? That's how simple CNN could do this, right? And actually break down and do fucking reporting and do really fucking real news. But no, they want to attack the messenger and go after the messenger and interrogate him and say, yeah, but what are you doing here? And why are you attacking this business? And why as you as a reporter is not just turn that way and question all these people that are gathered around here that came out of this business. Like, who are they? Do they work here? Like, do your motherfucking job as a reporter, CNN. No, they just went there to attack the kid. That's all they did. And they're like, the MAGA influencer, the MAGA reporter, the MAGA. I'm like, this guy's a fucking independent journalism. Like, you can't be a journalism. You can't get into journalism. You can't go out and ask questions. You can't go out and do independent reporting. Like, and CNN dropping all, and they're national fucking, like, national news, and they're coming down on a fucking YouTuber. Help me make that make sense. Help me make that make sense, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. All right, let's continue, because it's really pissing me the fuck off. And CNN tends to do this to me. It always gets me mad. They just always find a way. That's why I have to take a break, because I'm listening to these motherfuckers and it's a triggering effect. It's like when you listen to stupidity, you just get fucking annoyed. This is what it's about. Ugh.
Who gave this guy license to go around and say, I couldn't get in the daycare centers? Like, nobody should be able to walk into a daycare center because the doors are locked. These random vigilante justice seekers who ordain themselves like some sort of law enforcement expert, like he's a random YouTuber. And I just find it laughable that the party of the self-proclaimed pro-life people are celebrating cutting off funding to children. The white evangelical crowd who purports to uphold these Christian values are celebrating targeting communities because of their ethnicity.
It's not just racist and xenophobic. It's actually dangerous because what Donald Trump is doing in targeting this community, it's putting American citizens in danger because it is putting a target on their back. All of a sudden, because he made this video that has gone viral, now DHS and FBI are putting resources into this community all of a sudden.
Honestly, you knock on the door of a daycare center and you're like, let me in, let me in. What do you expect people to do? You know, in some of those cases, there were children in there. What do you want people to do?
How does she know there were children in there?
Open the door and say, come on in.
Oh, how does CNN
know that the Somali community is under attack, is being threatened every single day?
How do we know there's any children
What is going
in there?
on here?
And you know, leftoids are watching that reporting and they're coming to the conclusion that, well, that must mean that it's all BS, right? Nick Shirley hasn't found anything. He hasn't stumbled upon any scandal here. No, it's all one big MAGA hoax from MAGA influencer Nick Shirley and his Islamophobic ways.
A viral YouTube video by a creator who has shared anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim videos in the past put a major national spotlight on the investigation. Video claims Somali-run child care centers in Minnesota widespread fraud.
It's all just Islamophobia. It's all one big hoax. And their favorite talking point, of course, seems to be that, well, it's a daycare center. Of course you can't go in there. And, you know, I'm listening to this questioning, are people really this stupid? Do they expect that we are this dumb? Now, I'm not going to say that daycare centers have no security measures whatsoever. I'm not saying that anybody should be able to walk into these centers, but the idea that these public businesses don't have a front desk, they have no setup whatsoever to interface with customers, that's ridiculous. And that's where this video comes in. Just a regular American citizen who decided to make a TikTok video to kind of expose how ridiculous the talking point is.
So let me take you guys, for all the people in Minnesota that are I'm at my son's school right now. Let's walk in. All right, so I'm gonna go to this front door right here, right? For all the people that are like, oh, we wouldn't just let randoms in. Well, you can't just let randoms in because it's locked, right? So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna ring this bell right here. They're gonna let me in. You see how that works? They see me. Hi guys. All right, just in case nobody. And also, if I need a brochure for the daycare, nobody handed Nick Shirley a brochure. Nobody handed Nick Shirley a brochure. So if I want a business card, I can get a business card too, guys. See how that works? I walk out, the door automatically locks. Also, sorry guys, if I need something, there's something right here that I could get.
Yeah, more.
That's all I'm saying, y'all. Nick Shirley. He's not crazy. They could have handed him a brochure.
You can't get a damn pamphlet. You can't show up. There's no front desk. There's no secretary. There's no person there to give you information on the services that they provide. Nick Shirley also mentioned a good point when he was interacting with that CNN hack. Well, it's less about the operating hours and more, well, why is there not a front desk? Why are we calling these phone numbers and nobody answers? Why is it that nobody will take my little Joey into these daycare services? I mean, come on. But they want you to write it all off. You know, they're so focused on debunking the claims. And that's why they're focused on all these semantic arguments. That's why they're going out of their way to focus on the few daycares that might be actually active and operational, like this clip.
This is ABC Learning Center in Minneapolis.
They have to learn ABC and numbers.
Director Ahmed Hassan gave WCCO a tour after finding his daycare in the national spotlight. In a now viral video, right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley claims nearly a dozen daycare centers in Minnesota are taking public funds but not providing a service. He says ABC Learning Center is one of them, knocking on the door in mid-December. Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity.
Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later. Tuesday afternoon, WCCO found at least a dozen children at ABC Learning Center, which is licensed with the state.
The left is posting this all over social media, claiming that this now debunks everything Nick Shirley said. But of course it doesn't. You know, how many daycare centers did he go to? Not to mention how many other daycare centers are now being exposed. You got people whose personal addresses are listed as daycare centers receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants and subsidies. And then people are knocking on the door and the person who lives there is saying, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. We've seen some facilities that look like damn dungeons, not a person in sight during work hours. There's no proof that these places are operational, but they want you to forget all of that because, hey, we found information that may potentially this one place might actually be legit. Focus on that one element of the story, and then of course act like it debunks the entire scandal as if we haven't been witnessing mass daycare fraud and all kinds of other Somali fraud basically since 2013. It's obviously nonsense. And Nick Shirley never made the claim that every single one of those daycare centers was fraudulent. He was simply investigating what the reality is on the ground. He was going to these places and trying to get some basic answers, and then he showed up and he saw Leering Center, blacked out windows. He's met with hostility everywhere he goes. He can't get a damn pamphlet. That is obviously weird. But apparently, you're a misinformed MAGA moron for simply asking questions or coming to the most obvious conclusion. It's absolutely idiotic. All these left-wing attempts to counter are not as sophisticated as the left is making it seem. Now, most of it is nonsense. It's garbage. And the absolute worst part are clips like this.
According to federal prosecutors, it was really during COVID that fraudsters set up these fake restaurants or sham businesses and health clinics that would provide things like meals to school children or behavioral health services or housing to people with addiction. And because during COVID, you didn't have the same checks and balances, you had social distancing, you couldn't have the site visits, you couldn't have the in-person inspections, well, the fraudsters got away with it all and provided the receipts and collected boatloads of cash from us, the taxpayers. More than 90 people have been charged in the schemes, mostly Somalis, and more than 60 people have been convicted. Now you have this viral video getting traction online. It's from influencer Nick Shirley, and he visited several daycares, Somali-owned daycares in the Twin Cities, and basically accused them of doing the same thing, running these sham operations where kids didn't show up, but still billed the federal government and collected millions of dollars in Medicaid funds. We visited those sites too, as did state inspectors many times over the last 6 months. And we found the facts on the ground tell a different story. Those daycares, many of them were written up for safety violations, things like maybe busted equipment or staff training issues, but that's not the same as being fraudulent.
Nick Shirley alleges that there's massive fraud in these programs, but we debunked him by looking at the state and their records, and their records say, well, there's nothing to see here, folks. Therefore, that wraps it up. Nick Shirley's a liar. What a colossal moron. This is journalism in 2025. And these are the people pointing the finger at Nick Shirley saying he's not a real journalist. He's clearly the only person in pursuit of the truth. Meanwhile, you colossal morons are obviously engaged in a mass-coordinated cover-up. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Liberal Hive Mind. That was awesome. And it's the state is involved in it because they're getting the money, and then they the ones distribute it out, but they keep a percentage, and then they do shit with it. And oh my God, this is the biggest scandal probably in American history that we're gonna witness. I mean, I witnessed a lot, but you know, I wasn't alive for the Watergate bullshit because it was all bullshit with the Watergate. But like to experience a really big like operation that's gonna take down a governor, take down an AG, take down like the whole Somali community and send their ass right back home. That would be like the biggest, like that would be so big. Because they're all over the place. That's the problem. They spread like cancer. They're everywhere. And you gotta like hunt them like Pokemons. You gotta like, can you catch them all? I don't know if I can. They're all over the place. And you know, it's fucked up. but they need to be vetted. They need to be vetted, and they need to go through the process. And if they need to be sent back home, because a lot of them are freeloaders. A lot of them are just using and abusing the system. They're able-bodied people, and yet they're collecting from a disability system. It's fucked up, man. All right, guys, so let's keep it moving because we got more to watch. Let's see what we got next. Oh, fuck my life. It doesn't get any better. I'm sorry. It just doesn't get any better, and I'm sorry I have to show this, but I got to show it because at least I'm fair and balanced, not like fucking others. Ugh. Here we go.
So help me God. So help me God.
Fucking God.
Democrat
Had hand
Zohran
on the trend.
Mamdani kicked off his term as New York City mayor on Thursday during a public
That's not
swearing-in
the Bible, that's
ceremony
the
on the
Quran.
steps of City Hall.
I was elected as a democratic socialist, and I will govern as a democratic socialist.
Mamdani campaigned heavily on cost of living issues
Look at them clap
and
like
was
little
sharply
seals.
critical of President Donald Trump, whose approval rating has fallen over the past year amid economic concerns.
If you are a New Yorker, I am your mayor.
On Thursday, Mamdani spoke of hope to a crowd gathered in Lower Manhattan.
Regardless of whether we agree, I will protect you, celebrate with you, mourn alongside you, and never, not for a second, hide from you.
U.S. lawmaker Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez
Oh,
hailed
Lord.
34-year-old Mamdani as, quote, a mayor for all of us.
He will be our first immigrant mayor in over a century. And he will be the youngest mayor of New York City in generations. But most importantly, Zohran will be a mayor for all of us.
Many New Yorkers expect him to be a decisive political force after he promised freeze on horses and child care.
People don't get
I'm
it.
a
He's a
native New
puppet.
Yorker. I've watched
That's
the
all he
city
is.
like just become less and less affordable, less and less livable, and I'm really excited for
These
for
people
this to be
think they're
something
going to be
that,
changed.
you know, for regular people to get some power back
How
again.
about we
you
get
know?
rid of the
Months after
immigrants? and we lower the
2026
prices?
arrived, Mamdani took the oath of office in the historic and decommissioned City Hall subway station, which
the
his
fuck?
transition team said reflected his commitment to New York workers who keep the city running each day.
A
Republicans portray him
decommissioned
as a foil on the national
subway?
political stage. On Thursday, the lead group
What?
tasked with electing Republicans to the U.S. House of Representatives sought to portray Mamdani as a radical socialist. Mamdani's election victory could influence how Democrats approach this year's midterm elections that will determine control of the U.S. Congress.
Fake ass. He's so fake, and people don't see it. They're hypnotized. They're all hypnotized. That's how I could. What else could it be? You know, they. That's what they voted for, right? So, I mean, do we want to know who he was beforehand? Like, a lot of people are curious, right? Or I'm curious. You're curious. Who was this motherfucker before becoming mayor of New York City? Like, I know he used to be a little rapper or something, and he did some music and stuff. And what got him popular was the TikTok, and the weaponization of TikTok on the young youth, the very young, dumb, full of cum voters that were their first time voting, and they all got sucked into this vortex of stupidity and voted in by majority. A lot of people voted, and I know they voted multiple times, but you know, it needs to be proven, nor here or there. It's all, you know, allegedly, right? But let's find out who this doofus used to be beforehand, because I'm curious.
He came to New York at the age of 7. We look back at his early life, his adolescence, his college years, and of course that meteoric rise to become mayor of New York.
January 1st, 2025, Zohran Mamdani was among the thousands of people on Coney Island for the annual polar plunge. running into that freezing water in a suit for a campaign video.
I'm freezing. You're wet. As the next
You see what I mean?
It went viral, just like his candidacy.
Neat.
So how did this little-known assemblyman, who basically went unnoticed on Coney Island exactly 1 year ago, become New York City's next mayor and the face of a new political movement? For that answer, let's rewind.
Oh,
So
Lord, that is
Kwame
bullshit.
Mamdani was born in Uganda in 1991. His middle name, Kwame, in honor of Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president who had a primarily socialist administration. Both of Mamdani's parents are of Indian descent. His father is an academic. His mother, an award-winning filmmaker, who we just learned last week clandestinely campaigned for her son during the primary.
Anybody who's voting for Zoran, I tell them a secret. I am his mother.
After spending 5 years in Uganda and then 2 more in South Africa, the Mamdanis moved to New York and settled in Morningside Heights. This is what he told Bill Ritter about being an immigrant.
I am like 40% of New Yorkers in that I was born elsewhere. And I came to the city at the age of 7. And my favorite blocks in this city for quite some time were the blocks around Federal Plaza. It's where I got my citizenship, where I was sworn in as someone belonging to this country, and it was one of the greatest days of my life.
Growing up on the West Side, Mamdani played soccer in Riverside Park, grabbed breakfast at Absolute Bagel, and a slice for lunch at Coronet. He attended Bank Street School on 112th.
Vague recollection of like an Arsenal backpack, definitely would wear Arsenal jerseys.
Classmates remember Mamdani as someone who was well-liked and bridged different friend groups, something that helped him win an election for student body president.
The war in Iraq was happening, it was pretty unpopular. So he was talking about like the cost of an aircraft carrier and how many schools you could build with that money.
After Bank Street, it was on to Bronx Science, where Mamdani started the school's first ever cricket team, but he also lost his first ever election for student government. He campaigned on a promise of fresh juice every day for students. When the New York Post wrote about that campaign during the primary, this was Mamdani's viral response on social media.
It's also true that I did not conduct a feasibility study when I campaigned on a promise of fresh juice for high school seniors.
After Bronx Science, Mamdani headed north to Maine in Bowdoin College, a highly selective liberal arts school.
He had a magnetic personality then. He cared about other people's stories.
He majored in Africana studies, and Robert Morrison was one of his professors.
I also think that the liberal arts method and a humanities major gate, both in my classes and
very good actor,
him those skills that have really helped him in politics.
Outside of the class, he was active in campus politics, co-founding the school's chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine. He also called for Bowdoin to join the American Studies Association's boycott of Israel.
I think one thing you've just got to say is he's real.
After graduating, he returned to New York and helped work on his mother's films, and he tried launching a rap career under the name Young Cardamom. The two paths intersected when he produced the soundtrack for his mother's 2016 film,
disgusting,
Queen of Katwe, including the song Number One Spice.
All right, I don't want to hear that shit. Stupid.
His musical career never really took
Stupid,
off.
stupid.
Kind of re-spark his interest in politics, though. While reading an article in the Village Voice, he found out a rapper he admired was backing a city council candidate. Mamdani contacted that candidate and began his climb into the world of New York politics, an ascent that reached its pinnacle shortly after midnight.
The one that's supposed to be in jail too, the big ass penguin.
Solemnly swear.
It looks like fucking Batman, the Penguin's lair.
That polar plunge.
You see the penguin? It's all Batman. It's all theatrics. I knew it. I knew fucking Letitia James was the fucking penguin. I just knew it. Anyhow, he's their mayor. Whatever happens, happens. Not my motherfucking problem. I don't live in New York for a reason. Hell no, you'll never catch me in New York, living in New York City. Hell no. Mm-mm. It's just that mass exodus is the problem. Hopefully those people don't all come over here because they'll mess up the system. But let's go continue, and we got a couple of more, and then we'll be wrapping it up. So Happy New Year, right? Crazy.
We are learning of an elaborate heist in Germany.
Oh no, not this shit again.
To break into a bank vault. Police say an estimated 30 million euros in cash, jewelry, and gold is missing from the safety deposit boxes. Stephanie Bennet's live in London with the latest. Stephanie, how many people have been impacted?
Hey, Mike, good morning. Yeah, well, bank and police officials, they say around 2,700 customers have been impacted. No arrests have been made, and the suspects are still on the run. Take a look at some of this footage. Panicked customers, they gathered outside to demand answers from officials. About 3,000 safety deposit boxes were broken into, making up more than 95% of the bank's inventory.
That's crazy.
The theft is worth between $11 and $105 million.
Oh my God.
The boxes contained cash, jewelry, gold, among other items.
Oh my God.
He's been a customer for 25 years and says his retirement savings were inside his deposit box.
Oh no.
I didn't sleep last night. No information is coming out. No one is coming out. All they need to do is put up a sign which safe deposit boxes are affected. Not everyone is affected, but there is no information. They are not coming outside. It's
Oh
sad.
my
It will be a
God.
Bloody New Year, to put it bluntly.
Police say a fire alarm first alerted them to the bank shortly before 4 a.m. Monday. They didn't find a fire, but a massive hole in the wall and the vault ransacked. Using a large drill to break through that wall, police believe the suspects gained access from an adjacent underground parking garage. Video surveillance then showed several masked thieves escape in an Audi RS6.
Okay, I have to pause that for a second. Say, you see the difference between the Minnesota that we saw earlier and this heist, that they had to use a big equipment to use to go through this wall. But yeah, the one in Minnesota, they used like what, a sledgehammer or something, and they just burst into the place. I don't know. That story's just so fucking weird. The Minnesota one with the daycare. All right, let's keep it moving.
First of all, we would like to express our deepest regret that we are only able to communicate this information so late. The police were on site until yesterday afternoon and secured the scene. Evidence was secured, so we were unable to enter the room ourselves.
And bank officials say each individual box was only insured for about $12,000 unless a customer got private insurance separately. Mike?
Stephanie Bennett.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-
Okay, let's keep it moving.
A Spring man says he is now out more than $55,000 in Pokemon cards. He says he was planning on opening up his own store until his house was robbed.
No!
Fox 26's Angie Rodriguez joining us live in the studio.
Oh
with the
my
story.
God.
Angie.
Yeah, Caroline, Lewis told us he
That
started
is
collecting
not
trading
good.
cards earlier this year, along with many other collectibles. He tells me he dedicated an entire room in his house to them that was broken into just this past month. Now, this
My
video on your
God.
screen is of that alleged break-in. You can see a suspect go ahead and get closer to that camera, taping it up with duct tape. Then moments later,
Oh.
Lewis says they allegedly stole over $55,000 in Pokemon cards.
Oh my
Me and my
God.
wife were out with the family at a birthday party that day. It was Sunday.
It has to be someone
about
that knows
3
the
p.m.
family.
during the day, and some guys came in and kicked the door
Look at
in,
this.
and they ran in here with trash bags and emptied out all the boxes that were in
Hey,
this
some
room.
delivery person must
They
have
took
known
off, and then when
and
we
tipped
got
this
back,
off.
we saw the damage and called the police.
I'm telling you, this has to come
That's
down
unbelievable,
to
Angie. Do we know what kind of Pokemon cards were stolen? Was it anything
all
particularly
different types.
rare?
Yeah, it was just a lot, it seems like. Lewis tells me they were brand new and sealed prismatic evolution card boxes.
Oh.
So I looked up the price of those on eBay. A super premium collection box set is worth approximately $900. So
Ugh.
they're pretty pricey. He says the thieves stole hundreds of those.
But yeah, it's disappointing, seeing your fruits of your labor go down the drain through a robbery. But
Somebody ratted. Someone.
all I can do is,
I'm telling you,
hope
someone with the
that
delivery
justice
service,
wins,
someone.
we figure out a way to get the money back and
They knew.
continue our business.
Now, we reached out to the Harris County Precinct 4 Constable's Office to get an update on suspects or the latest on the investigation. Once we get that info, we'll make sure to keep you updated. In the studio, Angie Rodriguez, Fox 26 News.
Angie, I hope 2026 gets a little bit better.
None of that shit is insured. That's the craziness, right? None of that is insured. It's all gone. He'll never be able to replace or get it back. Like it's gone. It's just fucking gone. That's crazy. All right, guys, I'm on to the last video of the night. So thank you for watching, everyone who's still here. I truly appreciate it. And this last one's reserved for Tyson De La Cruz, entering the 2026 year, the final show of the first day. Let's go, Tyson. Let's get it all set up. And here we go.
3 men under arrest today are accused in a $14 million gift card fraud scheme that hit shoppers across Texas.
America, I got 3 questions for you. Question 1, how do 3 illegal immigrants from Latvia steal $14 million from American shoppers without anybody noticing for months? Question 2, how do they hit 10 stores a day, 7 days a week across multiple states, and nobody stops them until they drain hundreds of gift cards? Question 3, when finally get in their possession, how many of those Christmas gifts under your tree are already? The answer to all 3 questions is the same, because gift card draining is a criminal enterprise run by international crime ring.
At this Target in Jacksonville, Florida, watch this man and this woman closely. It looks like they're shopping carts with Kroger outside Louisville, Kentucky. But authorities say they're really part of a massive criminal enterprise.
What is up, guys? Nationals just got busted for running one of the biggest gift card fraud schemes in Texas history. I'm going to show you exactly how this scam works, how to protect yourself, and why it's connected to a much bigger problem with international organized crime in America. Let me introduce you to 3 men who just got arrested for this massive fraud operation.
Christians Petrovskis, Romuns Tisobrits, Normuns Olavikas.
All 3 are foreign nationals from Lithuania, a country in Europe. According to investigators, they're all here illegally and specifically came to America to commit crimes.
Were arrested for shoplifting and cloning gift cards in Texas.
These people were all here illegally.
These weren't people who came here for a better life and made mistakes. These weren't immigrants who overstayed their visas and got desperate. These were professional criminals who entered the United States with one goal: steal as much money as possible from American shoppers and send it back overseas. And they were incredibly successful at it. The group told investigators that they typically steal gift cards from 10 stores a day, 7 days a week, and have been actively doing so since May of this year. That's over 6 months of hitting stores across DFW, Central Texas, and the Gulf Coast areas. 10 stores a day, 7 days a week for 6 months. That's over 1,800 stores hit by just these 3 men. And they're not the only ones doing it. They're part of a much larger international crime ring that the Department of Homeland Security has been tracking. Now, speaking of criminals stealing your personal information and money, let me tell you about something that's absolutely infuriating me. While these gift card scammers are physically tampering with cards in stores, there's an even more bigger threat that most people don't know about. Data brokers are literally selling your personal information to the same type of criminals who run these fraud schemes. Look at this 11-page report showing exactly what data brokers know about me. They have my personal information, my home addresses, my family's information. And here's the most terrifying part. They're selling this information to anybody willing to pay for it, including the same international crime rings that run gift card fraud operations. When I Google my own name, look at all these data broker sites claiming to sell my personal information. And honestly, it makes me absolutely furious that these companies are making billions selling our most sensitive data without our consent and make zero effort effort to stop scammers and international criminals from buying it to target us with fraud. Think about it. While these Latvian criminals are physically tampering with gift cards, other criminals are using our personal data sold by these data brokers to target us with fake gift card offers, phony retail scams, and fraudulent shopping deals. How does it make you feel that your private information is being sold to the highest bidder? That is why I am proud to partner with today's video sponsor, Aura. Aura protects your privacy by identifying data brokers selling your information and fraud rings, and you shouldn't either. Now, let me explain exactly how gift card draining works, because this is important to everybody watching to understand. This isn't shoplifting. This is a sophisticated operation that takes advantage on how gift cards are displayed and activated in stores. Here's the process. The criminals go into stores like Walgreens, Target, Kroger, CVS, any big box retailer that sells gift cards. They take new gift cards off the shelf, carefully open the packaging almost surgically, and remove the card.
These cards have no value when they steal them.
The material on the back that covers up the numbers to transfer or activate the card is removed so that they can see the card numbers.
The numbers that are on the card are then programmed into another program that the criminals are using, which will now monitor that card.
Then here's the interesting part about the scam. They reassemble the packaging to appear as new without scratches and place the cards back onto the shelves for somebody to buy. The package looks absolutely perfect. There's no visible tampering. You would never know that anything was wrong.
Yep.
But as soon as you activate the card and put money on it, the criminals are immediately notified. They now have the ability to transfer the money off that card onto another card where they can cash it out or use it to buy high-end merchandise.
Then they would reseal the packaging and return them for display at stores. Once purchased, they would then take the money from the cards.
So you buy what you think is a brand new gift card, load it with $100, you give it to somebody for Christmas, then they try to use it, and then it's empty. The money was drained within minutes of the activation.
Yep.
So how did these three finally get caught? One of them was arrested in Garland after police say that he stole and tampered with gift cards at a Walgreens in Broadway. Investigators say one of the men was also seen at another Walgreens in Mesquite, and when they pulled him over, they saw loose gift cards on the floor of his car. A further search of the car turned up 3 shopping bags full of gift cards. In that single bust, 75 gift cards were confiscated. When they arrested all 3 men, they had more than 400 gift cards in their possession at the time of their arrest. Think about that for a second. 400 gift cards. That's 400 families who were going to give what they thought was a thoughtful Christmas gift, only to find out that the cards were empty. That's 400 instances of fraud, embarrassment, and stolen money. The Texas Financial Crimes Intelligence Center estimated a total loss of $14 million. They knew exactly what stores to hit, which gift cards were easiest to tamper with, and how to make the packaging look untouched. Now, let me tell you how to protect yourself from gift card draining, because this is happening at stores across America.
Consumers and retailers suffer losses in the area of about $1 billion
per year.
Per year.
First, when you're buying a gift card, always inspect the packaging carefully for signs of tampering. Second, maybe buy gift cards that are locked up near the cash register counter instead of the ones hanging on the open racks. Third, always keep a copy of your receipt when you buy a gift card. And fourth, this is critical. If you receive a gift card, check the balance immediately. Transfer the money into your account right away. If it's an Amazon gift card, load it to your Amazon account online. If it's a Starbucks card, load it to your Starbucks account. Once the money is in your account, the criminals can't drain it. The only way to know if your gift card has been compromised is to actually check the balance. Most people give gift cards as a present and don't scratch off the code to check. Now, here's what makes this story even bigger than 3 guys from Lafayette. According to federal officials, the people behind gift card draining operations are international crime rings based in China who send thousands of operatives like these 3 into American stores.
One of the main drivers behind this is the People's Republic of China. And they are using the funds from these stolen goods to sponsor human trafficking, human smuggling, as well as the fentanyl distribution all around the world.
That's why the Department of Homeland Security is involved in these investigations. This is a national security issue. When you have foreign nationals entering the country specifically to commit crimes, and the proceeds of those crimes are funding drug trafficking and human smuggling, that's not just fraud, that is organized crime. And believe it or not, it's happening on a massive scale. The FTC says gift cards are specifically mentioned in about 25% of all fraud complaints. cards. Retailers are now installing lock pegs on their racks, making gift cards harder to shoplift and impossible to put back once they're removed.
Target stores putting a blank space on their cards where the access code used to be. Only at checkout does the cashier apply a sticker with that code, preventing thieves from stealing it.
Some retailers are even installing anti-theft devices on the cards themselves. 20 major retailers have teamed up with the Department of Homeland Security to crack down on gift card scams through something that they called Gift Card Fraud Prevention Alliance. So what's going to happen to these 3 Latvian nationals who got caught? They're being charged with fraudulent possession of gift cards, which is a first-degree felony in Texas. 2 men are being held in Dallas County Jail. 1 is being held in Garland. According to the director of the Texas Financial Crimes Intelligence Center, these people were all here illegally and were all here specifically to commit crimes. That means they didn't overstay their visas or cross the border looking for work. They came here as part of an organized criminal operation. And they're not alone. Federal investigators say there are thousands of these operatives working across the United States right now, hitting stores every single day, draining gift cards and sending the money back to international crime syndicates. The 3 men who got arrested this past week are just the tip of the iceberg. For everyone that gets caught, there are dozens more still operating. And until we secure our border and crack down on international crime rings funding these operations, this is going to keep on happening. America, when 3 illegal immigrants can steal $14 million from American shoppers by hitting 10 stores a day for 6 months, that's not a failure of retail security. These men didn't sneak across the border looking for a better life. They came here as part of an international crime ring funded by China to drain our bank accounts 1 gift card at a time. And the money they steal didn't stay in America. It goes back overseas to fund human trafficking, drug smuggling, and fentanyl distribution. So when you buy a tampered gift card and lose $100, you're not just losing money, you're funding the cartels. The solution is simple: secure the border, deport criminals, and make retailers responsible for selling tampered cards. But until that happens, check your gift cards before you give them, because the person you're really giving money to might be sitting in a warehouse in China laughing at how easy it is to rob Americans blind. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on
great upload. But that's a lot of motherfucking gift cards to go. That's your job. It's like, look, we're gonna pay you this amount. Just go and steal all those gift cards, bring them here. We're gonna scratch them, document the numbers, and so forth, and then reseal the scratch area with some kind of like this it's like a little film that they put on it, like the scratch film. And when it gets activated, as soon as the register activates it with the cash, with the transaction, that's when it gets activated. Seconds, you gotta like put it in your account as soon as that, because the more time you sit on it, the more time they can steal it. So, and they get that page that the money has been put into, like it's been activated, they real quick take that money out and they transfer it to another account, and then that money from that gift card that you thought you got for someone is gone. And that's crazy. That's so it's very smart, but man, that's super crazy, because then like so many people would have gotten nothing for Christmas, and the people that were giving it to them lost out, because if you give someone $100, imagine $100 and 100, it all adds up. Some people give $500, those that have money. I mean, yeah, we definitely living in the upside down, but it's this time of the night that I gotta say good night, because I'm tired and I'm ready to get off here. I'm gonna watch something on TV and get to bed early, because I wanted to go to sleep early today. So yeah, have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. And I'll be back on tomorrow, do a little recap for the week. Most likely, I don't know if I'm going to take the weekend off. Probably am. Because my back's been just driving me crazy. And I got to see the doctor actually on Monday. I got a doctor's appointment. Actually, it's to see the surgeon and see what we're going to do. What's going to be the plan for 2026? Am I going under the knife? I have a feeling the answer to that question might be yes. And it's just something that I've been having. And I know it's going to be very painful. I'm trying everything not to do the surgery, but it's going to come down to needing to do the surgery because there's something happening within my spine. But anyhow, have a happy new year, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace, everyone.